Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's been a warmer weekend than normal. We set some record temperatures yesterday. Today will be a little bit cooler, but still warmer than normal. I mean, it was actually warm overnight. Not hot, but, we've been used to being pretty chilly around here at night. And it was kind of warm, but that's all going to change this next week. Looks like temperatures are going to take a nosedive around here, and we could actually see our first frost of the year this week. But that's living in the Ozarks, it just depends on what day of the week it is, what the weather is. Trees are starting to change. You can see here in the back, just north of here, they're looking really pretty. So we're not too far away till we start seeing some real pretty trees. This has been a week for Elon Musk. Some of you may actually be Elon Musk fans, and so you'd probably be all excited. He unveiled his new robots and a new robotic taxi kind of thing. All of it looked like from the movie iRobot. And then this morning did a big rocket launch. Big. What do they call it? The big spaceship stuff that I can't remember what he calls it now, but it doesn't matter. I don't follow it too closely, just enough to know what's going on. Anyways, it was a real success. Everyone is cheering it. And the whole time I'm just thinking, and maybe I'm just too conspiracy minded, I don't know. But the whole time I'm thinking the world's falling apart. Wars are everywhere. Economies just keeps getting worse. Diseases, illegals, violence, just like the whole foundation of humanity is just coming unraveled, right? And then we've got this guy out here promoting what appears to be very advanced technology and the new future, right? It sounds very dystopian, very globalist, very New World Order-ish. And of course, at the same time, he's one of the guys that's trying to court all the conservatives that there's this new conservative revolution, right? Not buying it. But anyways, thought I would throw that out there for you. It's always good to throw something out there to get some people really riled up. And some of you might get pretty riled up at that. Also, still waiting on a war in the Middle East. My goodness. If this was a couple of months ago, I would have just ignored it, right? Because at that point in time, it looked like just Israel and Iran were just going to continue making threats and not following through with anything. But then after Iran's recent 180 ballistic missile attack against Israel, at this point, I'm taking it a little bit more serious. And Israel says that they're on the verge of attacking. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year. But it does appear that things are more serious. Now, Iran has said, it's all such a game, folks. It's all a big charade. Privately, but yet it was all over social media through private channels. Iran has told Israel, even though it's all over social media, that if Israel just attacked Iran and in a symbolic way, didn't really take out any kind of things that are serious, that they would just let the matter go and move on. But there's still several countries in the Middle East that are worried that this is going to become bigger. Most of the Middle Eastern countries are worried about oil infrastructure sites being hit. So it's still possible. I'm kind of split on this one. I think that there is some serious indications happening, but I also think that it's in the grand scheme of things, it's all just part of a big charade. Just like I just said, it's just a big game. They've got to keep you distracted that there's still thousands and thousands of people that are without power and people that are missing. They're still doing recovery efforts in the Southeast. They've got to distract you that it's 3 weeks away from an election, and they don't want you voting for this candidate or that. They've got to distract you that there's every day thousands and thousands of people coming across the United States border, and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands, coming into Europe that are all illegal. They've got to distract you that behind the scenes, all the world's powers, not just the West or the East or whatever, but all of them are working together to control the planet. They want to own everything, like literally and figuratively. They want to reduce the population. There's too many of us. They want to control you at a biological molecular level. They want to control your thoughts. They want to usher in this new system to where everyone can be controlled. They know everything. They're able to manipulate. It's like I've said many times before. It's because they believe these high level elites, most of them you don't even know who they are. They believe that they are gods, and literally they do. They believe that they're of some higher power, and they want to prove to themselves and all humanity that they can rule in that way, not just like previous kings of this world. And so this beast system that they are developing, whether they know it or not, is just that. And so all of these things, much like what Yeshua talked about in Matthew 24, all these things have to happen. All of these things, these dramatic and deadly and chaotic things have to happen so that a new era can be ushered in. Because, people aren't going to turn over their rights if everything's going good. But if everything is really bad, if everything is chaotic, if there's wars and disease and famine and just chaos, people are more likely to say, okay, I'll let the government do this to kind of bring things down, even if it means giving up these rights. And so that's why they have to do all this. It's chaotic, but it's purposeful chaos. The funny thing is that it's all going according to God's plan. Even though these world leaders may think that they're fighting against God's plan, it's really according to his plan. It's all falling into place. And we're watching the end draw near. Now, I'm not making a prediction that it's going to happen weeks or months or years ahead. I mean, it could be decades or centuries or millennia still. But the most likely scenario, I guess you could say, is that it's sooner than later, because just looking at things that are happening. And so I try not to get as caught up in all of it. I'm definitely less and less caught up in it than what I used to be. I want to report news, kind of know about the things that are going on, mostly because that helps give me a better insight on how much longer we have left before we lose this or before this changes. But honestly, the actual things and the events that are happening, I don't have a whole lot of concern with. I mean, when it comes to innocent lives and stuff, that's different. But in the grand scheme of things, it really has gotten to the point that it doesn't matter to me who sits on the throne, who's in the White House, or who's bombing who, because those are just various pieces to a bigger puzzle. And so I all I know is that we're getting closer, and we have to continue to prepare, especially preparing ourselves spiritually. Because the warfare, spiritual warfare, is going to happen, be a lot worse. I was speaking to a lady last night that I've known for a while, an older lady, very smart, and we were talking about this. We were talking about the spiritual warfare and how I don't know that a lot of people, maybe you folks are probably different than most, but most people in general, and I'm speaking predominantly of believers, Bible believers, I don't think they quite understand like the real what spiritual warfare means. It's not something that's happening in some far off distant realm, you know, up in heaven or hell or whatever. It's happening right here, right before our eyes. And this battle between good and evil, between morality and decadence, this battle between powers and all of that, the confusion, the watering down of the truth, all of this is spiritual warfare and much more. And it's happening at a greater intensity. We're seeing it more. You know, when I was a child, it wasn't as noticeable. When some of you were a child, it was even less noticeable. Things seemed to be pretty normal. Things seemed to be pretty, you know, morally foundational, true, you know, right and wrong and all that kind of stuff. And now it's not as much. And it seems to have picked up pace quite a bit. And a lot of you are sitting around going, man, this stuff's getting crazy fast. Like, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago before, you know, from when we kind of knew what right and wrong was. And, you know, churches still pretty much preached the truth. And this was considered wrong to do to a child or with a child. And now it's just in a few short years, that's all been thrown out the window. Well, that's what spiritual warfare is. It's picking up speed. And we have to be prepared for that, because it's going to become more and more obvious. It's going to become more and more forceful. It's going to change more and more lives. And that's why we have to be strong. And the physical and the spiritual are intertwined. They're together. And so that's why we prepare physically. That's why we prepare mentally to go along with the spiritual. I've talked to many people that's like, oh, you don't need to do any of that. You just need to be praying and reading your Bible. Well, of course you need to be doing that. But, you know, if you're starving to death, literally starving, it makes you weak. And if you're too weak, you may, you know, cave into something. And don't say, oh, no, I'm too strong for that, because that's arrogance. That's why we have to take care of the physical and the spiritual at the same time. And so that's why we're getting ready, because darkness is falling on this earth in greater amounts than we've ever seen before, and will continue to do so. So, yeah, rockets flying through the space and, you know, all over the world to bomb each other, and starvation and economy and illegals and crazy political elections and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, we have to realize that we are here for a greater purpose, and that our eyes, the veils have been lifted over our eyes in ways that most people haven't. So we see a different picture. It's not about just the election or war or an invasion. It's about a greater battle. And not just between good and evil, but between the Almighty, between Yahweh and evil. And we have to be prepared for that, and continually be getting ready. It's a lot. It's heavy stuff, man. But we can do it, and we can do it because we have Yeshua on our side. And we have to remember that. Folks, we need to be getting our houses in order, preparing ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.